Justin Jefferson's candid remark that the Minnesota Vikings would have been better with Sam Darnold immediately sent ripples through the NFL conversation, not because it was a direct attack on anyone currently in the building, but because it peeled back the curtain on how elite skill players evaluate quarterback play beyond box scores and draft pedigrees. Coming from Jefferson, a perennial All-Pro wide receiver, the emotional and competitive heartbeat of the Vikings offense, the comment carried weight precisely because of his reputation for professionalism and restraint. He wasn't lobbying for a controversy. He was articulating a football opinion shaped by timing, rhythm, and the small margins that separate functional offense from explosive consistency. In Jefferson's view, Darnold's stint in Minnesota offered a version of quarterbacking that better aligned with what the Vikings were trying to do schematically at that moment: push the ball on time, trust receivers to win in space, and keep the offense in favorable down and distance situations. Darnold's willingness to throw with anticipation, Jefferson suggested, allowed routes to develop as designed, turning routine completions into chain-moving plays and occasional chunk gains that keep defenses honest. That perspective reframed Darnold not as a reclamation project defined by his early career struggles, but as a quarterback whose skill set, when paired with a strong supporting cast and clear reads, could elevate the entire unit. Jefferson's assessment also illuminated a broader truth about how receivers experience quarterback play. For pass catchers, the difference between quarterbacks often shows up not in highlights but in predictability: where the ball arrives, when it arrives, and whether it allows them to maximize yards after the catch. Jefferson emphasized that Darnold's ball placement enabled him to transition smoothly from route runner to runner, a subtle advantage that compounds over the course of a game. The Vikings' offense thrives on timing routes, condensed formations, and play-action concepts that stress linebackers and safeties. In that ecosystem, a quarterback who hits the top of his drop and lets it rip can be the difference between a contested catch and an easy first down. Jefferson's comment implied that with Darnold, those margins felt cleaner. It wasn't about arm strength or improvisation. It was about the offense humming on schedule, the play calling opening up, and defenses being forced to respect the entire field. The remark inevitably sparked comparisons to other quarterback options Minnesota has cycled through, and Jefferson was careful not to disparage individuals. Instead, he framed the conversation around fit and momentum. Football seasons are fragile, and confidence, both individual and collective, can swing quickly. When a quarterback delivers early completions and avoids negative plays, receivers run routes with conviction, offensive linemen block with clarity, and coordinators call games with confidence. Jefferson hinted that during Darnold's run, that collective belief was palpable. Drives felt sustainable, third downs felt manageable, even incompletions came with purpose. For a team navigating injuries and transitions, that sense of stability can be invaluable, particularly for a locker room that measures itself by Super Bowl aspirations rather than incremental progress. Critics, of course, pushed back, pointing to Darnold's uneven resume and the league's long memory of turnovers and stalled drives. But Jefferson's argument wasn't a referendum on Darnold's career, it was an evaluation of a specific stretch within a specific context. Quarterbacks are not interchangeable parts, and their effectiveness often hinges on coaching, protection, and surrounding talent. Minnesota's system emphasizes defined reads and spacing, conditions under which Darnold has historically been more comfortable. Jefferson's praise suggested that when variables were controlled, Darnold delivered decisiveness. That decisiveness, in turn, unlocked the offense's best traits: Jefferson's route precision, the run game's efficiency, and the play-action shots that force defenses into uncomfortable choices. There's also a leadership dimension to Jefferson's comment. As one of the league's premier stars, his words shape narratives inside and outside the building. By publicly backing Darnold's fit, Jefferson signaled what he values from the quarterback position: trust, timing, and accountability. Receivers want quarterbacks who see the field the same way they do, who recognize leverage and don't hesitate when a window appears. Jefferson's statement can be read as an endorsement of a quarterbacking style rather than a single quarterback, a reminder that the Vikings' offense is at its best when the ball comes out on time and playmakers are empowered to do the rest. For Minnesota's decision-makers, the comment added texture to an already complex evaluation process. Front offices weigh film, analytics, contracts, and future planning. Locker rooms weigh chemistry and confidence. Jefferson's perspective doesn't override data, but it informs it. Elite players feel the pulse of games in ways that spreadsheets can't capture. When a receiver of Jefferson's caliber says an offense felt better, that feedback matters. It suggests that continuity and clarity at quarterback can amplify the strengths already on the roster, potentially narrowing the gap between potential and performance. Ultimately, Jefferson's remark wasn't about rewriting history or stirring controversy. It was an honest reflection from a competitor who wants to win now and understands the delicate mechanics of offensive football. By highlighting Sam Darnold's fit and impact, Jefferson underscored a timeless NFL lesson. Success is rarely about the biggest name, it's about the right alignment of skills, scheme, and confidence. In a league obsessed with ceilings and projections, Jefferson offered a reminder that sometimes the clearest path forward is the one that makes the offense feel simplest and most dangerous on Sunday.